Yeah, so Diane, during this period, I think people are going to be finding it harder to self-soothe, chill out, be kind to yourself.
Hmm.
What things can people be doing to help themselves self-soothe? I couldn't get my words out there. To self-soothe during this period.
I think it's a really good question, James. I think it's different for everybody because it depends on what we've done in the past. And what we don't want to do is exacerbate things we've done in the past necessarily to that aren't good for us. So, for example, people that might have drank a glass of wine at the end of the day to relax, it's not going to be good to increase that and drink more wine. Or a lot of people are telling me that they're overeating. I think we're all going to come out of
Hmm.
isolation a little bit bigger than we went into it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
um,
I
but
I find myself, I know I was on a diet before I came into COVID-19, and when we went on lockdown, I was just like, well, I want a treat. I've been in all day. I want to go eat some junk food. That is going to be the highlight of my day, getting those donuts or whatever it is. And now I'm looking at the scales and I'm like, oh no, I've put on 5 kilograms already. This has got to stop. What am I going to do now?
yeah, and
Because
it's harder to get it off, isn't it, than it is to put it on. And it's hard to do a
yeah.
diet in this kind of situation because we do look for things that satisfy us.
Mm.
But it would be good if we could have a look at, if we are eating things that make us feel good, then we do need to counterbalance that. So if you can get out there and do some exercise, or a way of finding doing some exercise indoors. I know there's some great things going on the TV for the kids in the morning that a lot of adults are getting into too. So they're getting up and doing their exercise. Is it Joe Wicks that's doing the exercises in the morning? So lots of families are doing that together. Maybe families can go out again to the parks, and I've seen lots of children running and dads are timing them and they're competing with each other, which is creating some good camaraderie together.
Mm.
But for adults, it's important that they still get their time to themselves. And I know this is really difficult, but if it does mean that if you have a partner or somebody, another adult at home that can watch the children while you take that long bath, or go and watch a series on Netflix, or watch a series on Netflix while your kids are with headphones in while the kids are playing computer games, there has to be something. But there's all little things as well that people might treat themselves with. Still do your face mask or do your nails. Um, People can't go out and get their usual beauty treatments, but is there something that you can do that might help you feel comfortable? Make sure that you're still taking care of yourself in the same way. Wash your hair. Put some makeup on if you feel good about that. I mean, some people are loving it that they don't have to do it, but others are feeling that they can't be bothered. And when we get into that can't be bothered stage, that's when we need to be thinking, hang on a minute, I need to get a grip here, and I need to give myself a talking to and say, right, I've got to start doing things that make me feel good about myself, even though we're in this difficult situation. So recognizing that point when we're not getting up in the morning, or we're laying in longer than we would normally, and then it's disrupting our sleep because we're not sleeping the same at night. So we do have to be kind to ourselves and say, right, I still need a routine, even though we're in isolation. And that's something that, if you read stories about people that were imprisoned or they're in concentration camps, those that were good survivors focused on something, even if it was just getting out and what their life was going to look like. You have to have a focus and not stay in this in this situation where we're ruminating over and over again about all the bad things that are going to happen, because
Yeah.
there are going to be some difficulties. Yes, we are going to hit financial difficulties. It's going to affect the environment. It's going to affect the high streets. It's going to affect what we buy in the future, where we go on holiday, if we can get holidays. We don't even know these things, but we can't keep just focusing on what's going wrong right now. We also need to focus on what we can do and what we're still able to do. I've seen great videos of families cutting each other's hair,
Oh
um,
yeah.
grooming dogs,
Oh, that's sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
doing yoga together, doing things that they've never done before.
Mm.
I've got colleagues that are taking training courses that they didn't ever think they'd have time to do. Learning something new.
Oh, I think we've lost Diane there, so I'm gonna call her back. Okay, so we lost Diane there a moment ago. So Diane, you were talking about learning new things with your family. Is that right? Could you carry on there
Yeah, I
from
think
there?
I think what's happening is that a lot of people are starting to feel bored. I think you mentioned that yourself, James,
Mm.
and boredom can be quite a good thing to think about. You know what we've always perhaps wanted to do and never felt that we've had time to do. And I know we can't go out there and do things, but there are things that we could learn online, learning new things, whether it's training courses or learning a language or something that we thought we'd never get round to doing. I'm sure lots of people have got books on their shelves that they've bought that they've meant to read or they've meant to finish reading. You know, they've started it on holiday and they've never finished it. So there are things that we can do, and in this boredom, we need to use that to see who we are and what creativity we've got inside us. Because if we just think we can't do anything and we've just got to sit and wait, the longer this goes on, the more difficult it's going to get. So a good opportunity to learn about who you are, thinking about what you'd like your life to look like. You know, if we could go out tomorrow and do absolutely anything we wanted, what would you want to do? I'm not saying we can go out and do that tomorrow, but to give us an idea of planning what we want our life to look like, because a lot of us' lives are going to change. And I mean, I've spoken with people that are talking about career changes, and they're realizing that they can work
Mm.
from home and they don't want to return to a workplace.
Yeah, I've heard about this too. In fact, some people, because the landscape at work has actually changed, even though they're still there, they're actually doing lots of different things now they don't really want to do.
Mm.
Because there's been a loss of staff, you've now got to do jobs that you don't regularly do, and this is pushing people, I think, to look for new jobs. Yeah,
And we don't know what new jobs are going to be out there, and we don't know, how things are going to change. I've already heard some stories about some companies are looking at downsizing their buildings and realizing that people can work from home. And for
mm,
some people, that's great. You know, the
yeah,
idea that you don't have to get on a train, through London in the morning, is
yeah,
great for some people. But
yeah.
for
Because
others,
it's totally stressful going in and out, of London. I did it for years, and at the end of that time period, I hated getting on the train because no one's really courteous. That's another big stressor in your life, knowing, oh no, I've got to do that journey. It's going to take
mm,
45 minutes just to do all my stops and changes and stuff.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think the situation that we're in now, we are seeing changes in how people are respecting each other. And I do hope that in the long term, this does continue. I've noticed that people are not rushing around in the same way that they would. Obviously, we can't rush around the supermarket. We have to be patient. We have to keep 2 meters. I've noticed cars aren't speeding anywhere. They're driving more patiently because I suppose they've got more time.
Mm.
The stories of people leaving gifts for people that look like they're on their own a lot, whether it's a bunch of flowers or a note to say we're thinking about you. And it would be lovely if this continues, that I suppose we socialize in a different way and we're a bit more respectful of each other.
Yeah, I mean, just want to pick up on something that you were just saying. Just the practicalities of shopping is so harder now. Like, the other thing is that if you go into a small store and there's a one-way system and they set it up to force you to only go in one direction, it's if you're dawdling, this is annoying people behind you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there going, why is she taking so long? Or why is he taking so long? I need to get to another aisle, but I can't do anything because of this 2 meter thing. Yeah, it's
No,
difficult.
and
Yeah,
this is this again is indicative of how society's been. That when we want to do something, we want to do it
mm,
now. We
yeah,
want to order a parcel and we want it here before the end of the day. We
yeah,
don't want to wait 2 days, 3 weeks, or 6 weeks. We want it now, and then suddenly we're having to wait in the queue. And it's not just the small shops. I'm in a large Tesco store, and I'm having to wait while somebody's deciding what cheese they want.
yeah.
Fine, because when I go to the next aisle, I find that someone's got to wait for me while I decide what biscuits to buy.
Mm,
And
mm.
people are having to wait for each other. But I'm conscious that people are waiting. And then it might be that I think I've got to move on because I'm keeping these people waiting too long. But then I find I've got to go around the one-way system again to get back to where I want to be.
I know
Uh,
sometimes you got to do a few circuits to get everything you want. You can't just go back and forth anymore. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you haven't got your shopping list in the same way as they've got the shop layout, you're
Yeah.
running around the store trying
Mhm.
to find what you need. But I think we just have to understand that we're all doing the same thing, and not to feel pressured by people moving you on. I mean, don't take 10 minutes to choose a packet of biscuits, but you know, think about what you want before you get there. Plan
Mhm.
your shopping list before you get there. Go somewhere that's familiar so that you've got a general idea of where things are.
Mhm.
And be patient, and wait for each other. I mean, I was in a store last week where the one-way system is working, and I'm waiting for someone to move, and then someone decides to come the wrong way and come between all of us. And then there's a
Mm.
frustration about that because everyone's looking at each other,
Yeah.
looking at shop assistants who don't feel confident to challenge some people. I
Yeah.
mean, it's interesting that they're challenging some people and not others. And you know, this is going to go on for some time yet, and I hope it goes on for some time yet, that we're keeping our social distance. I mean, I don't particularly want to start going out tomorrow and doing things how I did 2 months ago, because we don't know what the risk is of getting sick.
Okay, Diane. So, what are you doing at the moment in regards to helping people with their mental health?
So in terms of being a therapist, therapists are still working out there. We're doing it very differently, although some therapists are online therapists anyway. But therapists have changed their business so that they're now doing online sessions. So that can be Skype or Zoom or telephone. So people that do need the mental health support, there is people out there still offering sessions. So if you do feel you need counselling, and some people have put it on hold, thinking we'll do all this when the lockdown's over. If you do need it, there are people out there that can help you. Some therapists have turned their hand to helping local charities, and they're offering free services for the NHS and other key workers. So therapists are still trying to do as much as they can and getting information out there to help with mental health. So don't neglect your mental health. If you need support, still seek it out.
Mm. And for people at home, if you are looking to book Diane, you can give her a call, and there'll be a number in the description, or maybe be on the screen right now. It'll be in the description of this video. So, you can contact Diane at home, and if you need therapy, then you can get in contact with her.
Thank you, James.